As soon as our next comedian's done, I'm gonna have a little contest. I'm gonna give away a 1-year subscription to the comic book title of your choice, thrown at us from the Nerd Store. The Nerd Store in the Valley Fair Mall. Thanks, guys. But now what I need you guys to do is I need you to put your awesome on. I need you to prepare yourself for something different, something epic, something 5'7", 5'5". Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure, my honor, and my privilege to introduce my very good friend, Rebecca Frost.
Thank you. You forgot to mention my delicate size 10 feet. Who's ready for some slam poetry now? Everyone snap. No, stop. Jesus Christ. My name's Rebecca Frost. Thank you, Jeff, for getting my name right. I have this stigma about me where if you don't know me or if you're meeting me for the first time, you're gonna guess that my name is Rachel. And it happens so frequently that I've started responding to it. Like, I will hear a conversation going on over here with a gal named Rachel, and I will get mad, because I'm like, no, you mean to be having that conversation with me. But my biggest fear is that one day I'll be out somewhere, like at a grocery store, and someone will start choking, and someone's like, oh my God, this guy's choking. My friend's a doctor. Rachel, get over here. And I'm like, I'm on the case. And I'm not a doctor. So the guy chokes, and the guy dies, and everyone's like, oh my God, Rachel killed a guy. And I've suddenly assumed the life of Rachel the doctor, and my life is just a downward spiral of terribleness, and I have assumed her alcoholism and all of her malpractice suits. And I can only assume that Rachel the doctor is on a beach in Mexico living under the guise of Rebecca somewhere. And that's my biggest fear. I was on a trip recently, and we went to this bar called the Yacht Club in a small landlocked town in Arizona. And I was told that there was gonna be karaoke. And me, being young and hip, was like, oh shit, yeah, karaoke? I'd love to get down to some Lady Gaga. And I was sorely disappointed when I got there, and the average age of the crowd was 70. And they're all karaokeing like country songs, and I don't know any country songs. Like, the closest I've ever been to being on a ranch is going to a Golden Corral one time. And so the karaoke wraps up kind of late, like around 8, right? And the youngest guy in the bar sets up a microphone in the middle of the open karaoke area. And he's like, okay, so now we're gonna have an open mic. So if anybody has any special talents, and just like leaves the stage. And my whole table turns to look at me, because everybody knows that I do stand-up comedy. But I'm running through my joke inventory, and I don't have jokes for a more distinguished crowd. Like, I have jokes about LARPers and how I want to open up a strip club in the Pacific Northwest called the Oregon Trail. I don't have jokes for this crowd. Like, and I have a hard enough time talking to adults as it is. Like, this is my conversation with an adult. Like, what's your name?
I don't qualify as an adult.
Oh, don't fuck this up, dude. What's your name? Yeah. Jake? That's like what I've got. I can't go beyond that. But I have, however, you fucked this up for me. I have found a loophole for that though. Like, Jake, do you have any pets? You have a dog? What kind of dog? What? What's his name? Jim? Chip. The Dalmatian. I could do this shit for hours, you guys. I could talk about pets for goddamn hours. Does anybody else here have pets? Yeah? Do you love your pets? You know you're crazy, right? Like pet people who are so in love with their pets are so batshit crazy. But it's fine. Like, I'm guilty of it too. Like, I have a cat. Let me tell you about my cat. Her name is Maggie, and she's only got 3 legs. But like, you know, that's what happens when you don't pay off your gambling debts. But I love my cat. I love her so much. Like, I just want to squeeze her until her head pops off so I can carry around her head in my purse all the time. I love her so much. But I did this thing recently that I told myself I would never, ever do, and then I did the thing. I ran into someone from high school, which is not the thing. Like, that, I also didn't want to do that thing, but I did that thing. I ran into someone from high school, and we started talking, and her life is further along the life path than mine is. Like, she's a teacher, and she has a husband, and she has a baby, and I have a job, and a 2004 Hyundai, and no outstanding warrants. But I did this thing where we were talking about her baby, and her baby is named Maggie. And I said, your baby's name is Maggie? My cat's name is Maggie. Never want to fucking do that again. But yeah, like, she's further on in being an adult than I am. Like, I have a bunch of friends who are LARPers, and I don't know if you know what LARPing is. Are there any LARPers in the house?
I'm LARPing right now.
You. LARPing stands for live action role playing, and it's when adults drive out to the middle of nowhere Tooele and put on a bunch of costumes and role play fantasy storylines and beat each other with foam weapons. And my friends were like, Rachel, you should come LARPing with us. And I'm like, oh, no, thank you. Because they take it very seriously, and I'm very cynical and sarcastic by nature. Like, I could be sitting in a room full of kittens for 8 hours and still be like, kittens. Like, what? Secretly, though, fucking love kittens. So they convinced me to go, and I drive out to the middle of nowhere Tooele, and I put on my costume, and they're teaching me the jargon. So like 8 earth damage, lightning bolt, 2 heal, 2 heal. And me, cynical and sarcastic by nature, I'm like, lightning bolt. What? I guess, I don't know. Secretly though, fucking loved it. It was so exciting to be somebody else and to beat somebody to death with a foam weapon. Very exciting, very exhilarating. But the jargon has since translated into my everyday life. So like, I'll be driving and I'm like, 8 road rage, or eating nachos, +2 nachos, or doing stand-up comedy, like +3 audience laughter, 3 audience laughter, 3 audience laughter. But I've always been like really cynical and sarcastic. I remember my very first like cynical and bitchy thought. The year was 1994, and I was 5 years old, and the movie of the summer was The Lion King, and my mom had taken me to see The Lion King, and so the movie starts, and there's like the parade, and the monkey with the cat, and then the screen slams to black with the red letters The Lion King, and I grew up on TV, so I know a thing or two about the narrative voice. And the little girl 2 rows in front of us turns to her mom and loudly says, "Is it over?" And me, 2 rows back, thinks, no, it's not over. Why would it be over? That would be a waste of time and money, and I have no concept of either of those things. And I wanted to share this moment with my mom and let her know that she was raising a bright, well-rounded, educated child. So I turned to my mom and I said, "This bitch." And unfortunately, that was the end of the movie for me. That's all I've got. My name's Rebecca. Thank you guys so much for coming out.
That was abrupt.
I don't know how they do it. I really don't.